Hi everyone, this is Prakash. Today I'm going to be discussing what we learned during our lecture and tutorial classes during week 5. On the very first, we discussed what software engineering is, and then we moved to the chaos report findings, in which we found that nearly around only 30% of the projects are completed successfully, and most of them are either challenged or failed. That means nearly around 70% of the projects are completely failed. Um, while making a successful software, the factors might include the clear requirements, which is one of the most important thing to build a particular software. There need to be user involvement during each and every phase during the software development. There also needs to be management support and a proper planning for the development of the software. um, what are the failure factors that affect the software might be the changing requirements from time to time, and we discussed about the SRS, which is uh, system requirement specification, which is made at the very beginning of the software development, on which the software is completely dependent upon, and one of the most major factor that um, affects while building a particular software is the changing requirements, which is one of the most irritating thing for the developer, because um, the user has to go through a lot while developing the software. And then we also discuss about non-technical issues and how the software engineering was developed by NAT or NATO. um, We also discussed about the principles and concepts from Davis, Royce, and then Wasserman, which followed quality reusement of the reuse of the same prototype, iterative process, and a lot of things. We all and at the very last we discussed about professionalism, on which there is no any PE license in software engineering, but Texas is an exception because Texas provides professionalism, provides a public license, which helps a particular software developer um, to get a certain degree. And in professionalism of software engineering, there need to be respect, fairness, law, and best performance. It also requires public interest, integrity, high standards, and lifelong learning. And at the very end, I would like to describe how it applies to my project is like firstly, I got to know how the software fails, and which was exactly not following the SRS documentation or having unclear documentation while developing the software. And then while I will be developing a particular software, I will have clear requirements and user involvement from the very start. I'll also apply disciplined process and iterative design. I will focus on quality, teamwork, and professional behavior, which is one of the most important thing nowadays, as the employees are not treated properly, and teamwork, different people with different choices work together, so they need to be ethical, and a kind of group is a kind of like teamwork need to be done. um, we also need to have proper planning, metrics, and most importantly proper documentation, which I will be doing at the very start of my um, development phase of the software. um, and I got to know that software requirements are one of the most major important factors or the process, which is also involved in SDLC process, which is software development lifecycle process, and that plays a very vital role while developing a particular software. So I'll be mostly focusing on the requirements phase, because if I don't have proper requirements, whatever I do, there will be constant changing the requirements, and if there is no any user involvement, or like if the user is involved too much and he changes the requirement a lot of times, it's gonna be trouble for the development of the software as well. So to conclude, the there need to be proper SRS documentation, and there also needs to be agreement by which a developer and a user or the stakeholders have proper documentation of the software they want, concepts they take, and what kind of quality software they want, so that developer and user can get their own profit from the software. Thank you.